What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with NBA legends explain why Isiah Thomas was so good, even Jordan admits it. Before we dive into this, y'all know I need y'all to smash that subscribe button, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. If you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. I'm intrigued to hear about young Isiah.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hello, good day to y'all. Hello, good day to y'all. How's it going? My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in to the Basketball Time Machine. I hope you're ready for your weekly dose of NBA basketball. In today's episode, I want to take a look at an NBA player of the 80s and 90s that is considered to be one of the greatest, but also has a very rocky relationship with other NBA legends. I'm, of course, talking about Isiah Thomas. But before we dive into today's episode, let me ask you guys for a small favor. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and even more important, click the notifications button so you never miss an episode of the Basketball Time Machine. Alright, enough said, let's get right into it. So where do we start? I would say let's start with Eddie Johnson, who was one of the greatest shooters of the 1980s and 1990s, who's now an NBA analyst. So let's start with him.
Standing at only 6'1", Isiah Thomas dominated like few guards ever have. With his scoring ability, ball handling, and legendary will to win, he gave the Detroit Pistons bad boys their rough and tumble identity on their way to back-to-back NBA championships.
Yes, sir.
Isiah Thomas. Oh, what a pass. Oh, that's the pass of the year.
I knew he was going to be special. I did. He's one of the most special basketball players we've had in this league, and one of the most unselfish, because he could have scored 30 points a game, but you know what? He understood that he couldn't continue to just chuck shots up because he wasn't producing wins.
Thank you.
And all of a sudden,
that's what I be saying when I be like, these players could have scored 30 if they wanted to. I'll be like, these players could average 35. These players could, but they know what I'm saying. It's not that they can't. It's that they understand the game to know that if I know what I'm saying, I don't want to just chuck up shots. Like I want to get everybody involved because I want to win. You feel me? So when I say these players are capable of averaging this much, and then you get backlash saying, well, if they could, then they would. Well, no, because that doesn't equate to winning basketball.
He just chuck shots up because he wasn't producing wins. And all of a sudden, he allowed his teammates to play a heavy hand in what they did offensively. He tuned up his defense. They came up with a mindset of how they were going to beat teams, how they were going to get past the Boston Celtics in general, and they did it. And they did it by just playing physical basketball and him facilitating more than just shooting. It was an amazing turnaround of unselfishness by a player that we've seen in the history of this game. And it led to him beating teams that other players couldn't beat, quite honestly. I mean, Isiah not only beat Boston, he beat the Bulls consistently, he beat Philadelphia. He's had success against all those top teams at that point in time in the Eastern Conference, and it culminated into 2 NBA championships.
Now the next player's opinion that we're going to take a look at is definitely one of the most interesting one. Why? Because Michael Jordan and Isiah Thomas obviously have this very icy and strange relationship. Let's have a look.
I respect Isiah Thomas's talent. To me, the best point guard of all time is Magic Johnson, and right behind him is Isiah Thomas. No matter how much I hate him, I respect the game.
Isiah! You getting pushed still. My guy got his hands in your chest and he still tip dunking that. And Mike, who got a rivalry against Isiah, who just doesn't like Isiah, he'll even admit, I know what I'm saying? I got Magic and I got Isiah right behind him. Like he's that good.
Thomas. No matter how much I hate him, I respect his game. Now, it was insinuated that I was asking about him, but I never threw his name in there. Based on the environment and the camaraderie that happened on that team, it was best harmony. Would Isiah made a different feeling on that team? Yes. You want to attribute it to me? Go ahead, be my guest. But it wasn't.
Because the thing about Isaiah's handle is most guys who have a handle have a move.
Right.
Their handle. It might be a crossover. He talked to it. It might be the step back. It might be the in and out through the leg. Tim Hardaway, wicked crossover. But Isiah could, what I would call, pat it. And he could pat it as well as, you talk about making music, Isiah made music with it.
One would be Isiah Thomas. And we all remember the highlight in the Boston Garden of him crossing over Danny Ainge, waiting, telling him to come up, hurry up, crossing him over again, and drilling a shot in front of his face.
I'll give you see.
I need to see it.
When Isiah was like leading it and like way up there and scoring, because they went from an all offensive team to a defensive team. When they had their offensive team with Isiah and Kelly Tripucka, John Long, and those guys, that's when Isiah had the crazy handle. I mean, but it was always amazing to me how that team went from all offense trying to outscore people to becoming a defensive juggernaut.
But when you're double teamed and in traffic and got to get out with the handle, Magic's not doing that.
Yeah,
that's Isiah. That's Shamgar. That's those guys. They getting out of traffic with the dribble.
Well, with all the guys that we've talked about, there's really only two Hall of Famers, or at least like perennial All-Stars, and that's Isiah and Tim Hardaway. Most of the names, it's more about the show than the actual production. That's why I like Isiah. If I had one guy, I'd take Isiah because he had both. And whatever he did with the ball, it always translated into something good offensively.
Feels like heaven. Isiah was a guy just like, to me, I put him up there like one of the best guards in history because I had to play against him when they were the world champions, the bad boys, when they were beating people up on the court.
Oh my God.
Physical. His tenacity at his size, his leadership, his not backing down. You know, my favorite memory of him is scoring all those points. I think it's 23 points in the quarter on one ankle against the Lakers.
That's crazy.
I don't believe what I'm seeing.
On one ankle, 23 in a quarter. Isiah, crazy. Crazy. I get so hyped, bro, because he really could do whatever he wanted to do. And you can see he could get to where he wanted to get to. He can make these shots, but he's playing on
I think it's 23 points in the quarter on one ankle against the Lakers.
I don't believe what I'm seeing.
He is just showing so much heart and determination.
Maybe one of the best we've ever seen in one quarter in finals history.
Like, in the finals, like, come on, like, that's legendary. That's you know,
crazy.
That's what makes guys like that Hall of Fame legends and people like, you know, myself that grew up, you know, look up to and want to emulate as a basketball player.
So I played with the great Isiah Thomas, and I knew it. I still know it, you know.
All the way up,
Literally carrying the team on his back.
Magic Johnson saying, coming up to Orchard St. Mary's, and then y'all kind of got to talking, and Magic say, let's play them in 2-on-2.
Right.
So for me, and then afterwards, he's the reason why I took my dribbling to the other level. You remember you gave me 2 balls?
Yep.
You remember?
Yep.
Can you want to show?
No, go ahead.
I'm going to show. Can I have that ball? See if you remember. He said, drop one, pass the other.
Yep.
Drop one, pass the other. Drop one, pass the other. Drop one, pass the other. And I couldn't do it for about 6 months. And then I started to get it where I could go anywhere.
He would bring people out, and he was cold because Isiah always smiling. So you think he's first of all, he's a nice guy, but you think, it's going to be sweet today. So he's not letting no little kid score. And he's like, no, you got to earn this. You got to work for this. And then he proceeds to do the machine gun.
Yes.
And that's why as a big fella, like growing up in Detroit, me talking about guards, but seeing like Derek Coleman, Terry Mills, Victor Alexander, Derrick Gross, big guys that had handle. And then you were a point guard, but I mean the centers that almost are your size, and we saw you with handles. And then Zeke came out and did the machine gun. And I remember my father telling me, just like how you said, drop, switch, drop. He said, 99% of the kids in here are not going to listen to what Isiah say. Are you going to be one that listens? Yes. And I remember looking at him going, okay, Dad. And I remember seeing him do the machine gun, and I'm not lying. It was a blur.
First time I met him was in '79, and we were playing in the Pan Am games.
And you hear so much respect for this man, bro. I mean, you had some legends during this time of basketball, and he was definitely up there with them.
It was a blur.
First time I met him was in '79, and we were playing in the Pan Am games. And Isiah and I were roommates, and Coach Knight was coaching the team. Isiah was going to Indiana, so Isiah was just it was June, and Isiah had just graduated from high school and was going to go to Indiana the following year. And I was at the University of Minnesota, and I'd be in my room and I'd be trying to sleep, and Zeke would say, "Cat, I can't sleep." I'd be like, "I know you can't sleep. You're waking me up. I'm exhausted because Coach Knight is killing us with practice. And we're having 2.5 hour twice a day, just wow. We're really practicing hard. I just want to go to sleep." And he's like, "Coach Knight yells a lot." I go, "Yeah, he does yell a lot." "I'm nervous about coming here next year." I go, Isiah, I'm going to Minnesota, and I'm going to go, so that's your issue. Quit waking me up.
He's the greatest pure point guard ever. Him and John Stockton. Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard ever, but he's a freak of nature. But Isiah Thomas and John Stockton are the two best pure. When I say pure, I mean little guys to play the point guard position.
Okay.
They're the best to ever do it.
So how good is Isiah Thomas in my opinion? Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, to me he's not only one of the greatest point guards of all time, but one of the greatest players of all time. Sure. And I'm actually grateful that this guy existed, because if it wasn't for him at the Bad Boy Pistons, obviously Jordan still would have been the greatest of all time, but I think he gave Jordan that edge. Because of Isiah Thomas, Jordan went to the weight room, gained some muscles, got stronger, so I think he was very important for Jordan's development. And also I was happy to have a general on a Bad Boy team that was basically feared among the league. I think that was what made the 80s so great, so I'm very grateful for the player Isiah Thomas. Alright you guys, that was it for today's episode. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.
Nah, that's real good. I absolutely enjoyed that. I don't think I've seen an Isiah Thomas highlight tape or anything. Any legends talking about Isiah Thomas yet, and so that was real cool. That's all we got though. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You can subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy Neal. Out.